Welcome to, I'm Ernie Suggs. I'm a reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, editor of AJC Sepia, your all-purpose Atlanta Journal-Constitution's content page for African-American and race and cultural events and stories. Today, as you can see, I have a wonderful guest. I'm actually his guest today, the rapper, activist, Grammy and Oscar-winning activist, rapper, producer, everything, Common. How you doing, Common?
How you doing, brother?
And today I'm here with you today to talk about diversity.
Yeah.
And you, as I said, we know you as a rapper and an actor, but you are an activist, and diversity is something that's very, very important to you.
Yeah, it is important to me. I think for me, is rooted in the fact that, looking at different communities and seeing people not be acknowledged and not have the same opportunities. As I started to get exposed to new things and have more opportunities, I felt like we needed to see more people, more women in places of power, more people of color, and not just be like, okay, let's make it diverse and just stick anybody in. It's about like actually true diversity, like having different types of people that may be from the LGBTQIA community, people that may be of different spiritual practices, Black, white, Latino, Asian, Native Americans, I think that's where like my heart lies when it comes to this whole diversity conversation. Not conversation, but action. Yeah.
So why? I mean, because you mentioned everyone should do it, but you don't have to do it. You're successful in everything that you've done. So why is this so important to you to be able to go out there and talk about these kind of things? You could be out partying and doing whatever you need to do.
Well, I just think it's I have a desire to do my part to help make the world better. And I think every human being can do it. We don't have to be an artist or athlete or have 1 million Twitter followers to make a difference. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the ways I feel like making a difference. I always felt like when things were going good for me, and if I like seeing people around me enjoy and be happy too. Uh-huh. And I think it's that philosophy or that mentality that makes me think like, hey, okay, I'm provided these opportunities. I want to see other people fulfill their dreams or fulfill their purpose or have a chance to go to great schools and get educated or pursue whatever like passion they have. So it's really, I just want to be a part of help creating that space and opportunities because I believe it creates for a better world.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel personally when you see someone that you talked to or mentored or had a conversation, or someone says, "Hey, you inspired me to do something"?
Oh man,
how does that make you feel?
That's one of the things where, like, obviously depending on what is said, it just really touches your heart and your soul, and you feel like, wow, this is really worth it. Uh-huh. Because obviously no matter what we do, it's not all glorious. It's not all just, so, when somebody approaches you and tells you like an effect that you may have had on their lives, does that like life-changing or shifts the paradigm for them, man, you feel overwhelmed and you feel inspired. Honestly, it makes me feel like, oh man, I gotta go work harder too. Uh-huh. It feels like I gotta go do more because that's one of the most crowning achievements is when people come up and say good things like that.
Yeah. Now I've seen you in concert 10 times probably. You're one of my favorite
thank
performers.
You, bro. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you.
But about a half hour ago, I saw you speak live for the first time. So tell the listeners why you're in town and what you're talking about and just this whole purpose of you being in town as a speaker, because you're not here in town rapping.
I mean, I had the opportunity to speak at this event and it's dealing with like what's the CEOs talking about inclusion, talking about diversity, figuring out ways to really like make their presence felt when it comes to diversity. Okay. And I felt like I love the opportunity to get to talk to people who are influencers, to people who are in positions of power, and just people who really care. Or maybe even if they don't care, I still like getting to talk to them because I hope to put a spark in them, and I hope to be a part of the progress. And getting to speak today was an honor for me because it is people already. A lot of people who are here are committed to being better and making, you know, their companies better. And like, so that's a powerful thing in itself, because I used to always think, man, before I even had the opportunity to speak at anything like of this nature, I would think, why don't companies start looking out for the communities that are supporting them? And why, like, once you got all this, like, things going good, why why would you exploit the poor, you know, or not give the poor opportunities? And I feel like you see, you know, some people stepping up within companies that really want to do things and want to find out how to do it. And I think it's the conversations that start. I mean, I'm a man of action, but we got to have the conversation first. And I think putting everything out on the table, like while we're sitting in this trailer, is like a great thing to be able to put a truth out, to find out about what biases you do have and talk about it. And I think, you know, and within me speaking, I try to put out a truth. Like I don't allow myself to be vulnerable within it. I allow myself to be really honest. I'm not perfect, so I'm just up there speaking, you know, from a truthful place of my experiences, and hoping people could leave with something that they can go out into in their own space and create goodness.
Now, one of the things before you came to sit down, you know, I was kind of touring the bus, and hopefully everyone can come out and check out the bus, but it talks about bias and unconscious bias. And I took a couple of tests about, you know, checking my own biases. Have you, I'm sure you have, but, you know, have you had a self-examination of yourself to look at what biases you have or had, and how did you change those, or how are you changing those?
I work on those. I need to take the test too, to be honest. But some of my own tests that I did, honestly, was, you know, because I actually grew up in a all black neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. I recognized that I hadn't been exposed to a lot of different cultures. And, you know, thank God that I've been able to be an artist that has been able to travel, so that exposed me to new things. But I still had I'm working to unlearn some of the biases I've had, because I grew up in a culture that was biased, and, you know, I noticed those things sometimes, just getting on the elevator, and I'm like, man, this person don't like me. You know, like they probably think I'm just like some black dude that's, you know, dressing different. He might be hood. I got on a hoodie. You know, automatically sometimes create certain stories in my mind just because of, you know, something that may have occurred in the past, or something that's happened in other situations. So I know I have those biases, and what I do to work on them is recognize in the moment when I'm just projecting something on somebody, and not being present. You know, being present is an important thing. I realize, because so many times we could, from stuff that happened in the past, we could tell ourselves, yo, this is what this person is thinking, and this is how this person acts, and you know, you coming up with something just from your own prejudgment. You know,
that's interesting what you mentioned about all the stuff that you succeeded in life, in music and television and movies, the awards, meeting the Obamas, going to the White House, and you still talk about getting in an elevator and someone seeing you comment as this person that we all know is so successful and can still be judging you. How do you know, how does a person get over that?
Well, let me be clear. Like, sometimes that may be the case, and sometimes it's my own stuff of projecting them. But
how do you get over the projecting it?
Well, I mean, like, you gotta just, me, honestly, I kind of like just be like, hey, how you doing? And I see how they react. Or, you know, sometimes that person might just say, hey, how you doing? And then it's like, see, I was thinking this. Like, I remember it was a time where I was in Nashville, and I was I was performing at this country music event, and I got out the car, and all these, you know, officers were down there. When I got out the car, I was like thinking, like, man, I know these officers don't like me. I'm just coming out like out of the truck, black dude, like, just, I was like, these, you know, just a lot of white officers. And I was like, I'm down in Nashville, I know they don't like me. And then one of the officers was like, hey, how you doing? And the rest started waving. And I was like, you know, and obviously some of it was, I mean, it was because they may have known who I was, but I had my own thought that they didn't like me. And you know, I think it's a certain amount of awareness you gotta have, but we don't have to bring our prejudice into prejudging situations and thinking, well, this person is thinking this about me. I think being present is allowing situations to unfold or happen, and also like taking the initiative to be respectful and kind even in that situation, even if you think they are. You know, I remember seeing this video online of this brother who he had dreadlocks and stuff. He was at a march, and it was some white supremacists marching, and he went up and hugged the guy.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that video?
Yeah.
And it was just like that disarmed the whole the dude was like, man, how can I deny this? And I mean, though I don't always, you know, do something physical, but I try to disarm, and it's disarming myself and disarming them. You know, by just being respectful and kind.
Well, I got a couple more questions. Being on stage just now, talking to CEOs, what do you learn from them, and what do they learn from you in your, in your conversations?
I think one of the things I learned is that CEOs are people, you know, and they care. Some care more. They want to know like what other things to do, and you know what can they do with their position. And I just think, you know, they experience the internal conflicts like we do too. You know, you forget though, you know, like I've been around different CEOs that like, you know, that I really like, man, these people are billionaires and they still are human beings. You know?
So what's next for you? What's going on with you?
Well,
aside from this.
Yeah, well, I have a film that I'm a part of. It's called The Informer. The Informer. It'll be out. It's starring Rosamund Pike and Clive Owen, and I'm Joel Kinnaman. I'm also in a film called The Kitchen with Tiffany Haddish and Melissa McCarthy and Elizabeth Moss. It's a drama. It takes place in the mid 70s, late 70s, in Hell's Kitchen in New York City. And musically, first of all, I have a book coming out, called Let Love Have the Last Word. It'll be out in May. And I have a EP project that's inspired by the book, a music project that will be released around the same time as that. So I've been working on those things, and you know, continuing to. Freedom Road is a production company. We're producing The Shy, which will be out in April. The Shy is a show on Showtime. Yeah, and we also, you know, have some other projects cooking up. About to do more film work, and I'm working on writing some plays. I wanted to get into that. Yeah.
So you mentioned your movies first. Is there? I know we first met you as a rapper.
Yeah.
Common Sense.
Yes.
That's how far back I go.
I hear you.
So what do you like best? I mean, is movies and acting overcome? Are you an actor or are you a musician?
I'm both. I mean, it's like the same way I'm a father and I'm a son. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm a black man. You know, these things are qualities that are me. So I love acting as much as I do music. I've really been focused on this music we're doing right now. I'm excited about it. But it's moments when I have a great script and I'm just like, so I love both, man. And I think I know I don't have to like just be in the one. I consider myself, I'm an actor and I'm an artist, you know.
So do you wake up every morning and look at that Oscar and like?
No, I try to just, you know, when I see it, but I try to remember there's more things to achieve, you know, even on that level. I want to go higher. I want to be a greater, I want to be a greater as an actor. I want to be a great actor. I want to be creating new soundtracks for films and you know, going out there doing work. I want to do theater work, you know, so it's other things than television work. So I look at that as an inspiration, like, okay, that's there, but I got more to do, you know?
Okay. Are you going to stick around Atlanta for the Super Bowl? Super Bowl's next week?
Yeah, I won't be here for the Super Bowl. I'm back in the studio. So, and you know, I honestly, I'm just going to be real. I've been, you know, it's been a little balancing act, meaning I haven't really been watching the football as much because of, you know, the Kaepernick. I believe in Kaepernick. I believe not just in him, but what he stands for. And it's just, you know, for me, looking at the reaction of so many of the owners just made me be like, damn, it's hard for me to walk in that store and support it, like because of the way they've treated not only just Kaepernick, but definitely him, you know, because he's symbolic to the fact that, like he said, man, I'm just only doing this for people who are being shot down and killed in the streets, unarmed men and women. And it was a peaceful protest, and for them to just like exile him out of the sport and blatantly do it, it's just hard for me to be like, yo, go. But I respect every, you know, person who committed their life to playing football. So many like talented athletes is doing it. I respect them and got love for them, but it's just hard for me to look across the board at a lot of the owners and be like, yeah, I'm gonna support your business. You know, because it just, they showing a racial bias.
Well, last question. There's been a lot of talk about some of the performers who are doing halftime, and you know, all year there's been that controversy about who's going to perform. What do you think about that? Were you asked to perform? Would you have said no? And what do you think about those who are performing?
I mean, I would have said no, because it's hard. Like I said, first and foremost, I really love basketball too. Like I'm a basketball.
You're in a basketball movie.
I'm right. I love basketball. That's my favorite sport. And the way, thank you, brother, thank you. And the way the NBA approaches social conscious things and community things, I love it.
Totally
the players,
look
at LeBron James, D Wade. It's other cats that it's the cat that played for the Clippers. I hear they do community work all over. It's people, Chris Paul, like Carmelo. All type, you know, I just love it. And it's football players doing the same thing, but like I said, the organization's a little different. I love that Rihanna and people like, well, Rihanna was like, no, I'm not performing at the Super Bowl. Like, I'm with Kaepernick. I think that just says a lot, man, because the Super Bowl is a big stage to perform at, but for your ethics to be like, you know what, I can't support this, I'm gonna pass on that, says a lot. And, you know, for those who are performing, God bless him. I love Travis Scott. He's a dope dude, and you know, everybody has their own choice. My thing about what we do is like, man, everybody not gonna do what I think they should do. They gotta live their life, you know. But I do applaud the people who are aligned and say, man, this publicity ain't even worth, you know, what they're doing, and I got to stand for something.
Okay. Well, always dropping knowledge, my man. I want to thank you for coming, or thank you for inviting me into
thank
your
you,
space
bro.
today.
Thanks for coming.
I'm here today with the great Common. He's in town promoting diversity in business. Pick up his albums. Pick up his new book that's coming. When's your book coming out?
The book is coming May 7th. It's called Let Love Have the Last Word.
Okay. Looking forward to that. You send me an autograph copy?
Yeah, I see you. Okay. I got you. You got to come to a show or something.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.